What up, Twitch? PU2 we are here on a Tuesday night to watch a dog eat a sandwich. Or watch a sandwich get eaten while a dog is watching. His climate changer tortures his dog. He is intently staring at you, too. He's like, seriously? Just so sold in. But we playing D&D, folks. At least that's what we usually do. We've taken a little bit of a break, and I, for one, am happy to be back in the saddle again. And we've got PS Zombie here. This is going to be his campaign tonight, the Unbeaten Path. So we've got Climate Changer. We also got Battle Armor on the wavelengths. Do you want to pop in our video, so people can see your lovely face as well?
I've forgotten.
Can you send him the deets there, PS Zombie?
Yes.
Is it perhaps even the last thing that he sent me?
It could be.
I put it in Mumble.
Yes, I believe I.
Put it
and there I am.
Sweet.
And here I go.
There he is. With his luscious locks.
Here for days.
Awesome.
I was looking at the past two streams of Unbeaten Path that I had DM'd, and like there's a definite progression to my beard growth. Like it was short and medium, and then now pretty long. So it's been a while.
It's been a while. It has. I'm getting everybody's here little labels here situated, so I'll just go ahead and say that you can find PU2 ASU still. We're still at all these places, which is TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a Patreon. We also have a Discord, which you see in the top left of your screen that you control if you'd like. I'm a little disappointed to call out Alex. He said he would troll us, but he's not on either of the things to troll. So you could be a troll if you want to join our Discord. The link is on our Twitch page. We also replaying these videos on Kick. So check us out on Kick. And then check out our... There you go. The trolls have come in. You can also find us on our merch store. You can find out cool merch. For the PU2 ASU channel. How is everybody doing? It's been a long time.
Been a minute.
I'm here.
It has. Everybody is here. I am happy to be playing a game on a Tuesday night. Blow off a little steam from work, which has been kind of kicking my butt. How is things up your way? Climate change.
Great. It's a lot of work lately, but in between that, I'm getting to play Little Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
That's been fun.
Jealous.
Yeah, I like it enough to just buy a new computer for it, so that I can actually play it right.
That's how you know you got a good game.
That's what I did for Witcher. Witcher was one of the things that made me upgrade my computer last time. I was like, it's time.
A killer app.
Yes.
Well, it's always nice because you get to enjoy the upgrade as well. So it's really, you're just waiting for that excuse, like that justifiable excuse
And then
to upgrade the hardware.
Battle Armor, what have you been into lately? What are you playing? Since we're talking about what we're playing and how we're
playing Persona 5 again. I just finished something. What was I just? Homebody. It was this fun survival horror kind of game. It was good fun. It's like a little time loop.
Time loop.
A good time.
cool.
And it made me rant about the other time loop game that I did not enjoy, 12 Minutes, which was one of my least favorites, but one of the most star-studded video games I've ever played. James McAvoy and Daisy Ridley as the leads.
Wow.
Whoa.
With I believe a Willem
Was that one of
Dafoe
those
in
like
the mix?
what's that whole storyteller series that they've been doing? Was it one of those?
Oh no, Dark Picture.
Yeah,
The
Dark
whatever's-
Anthology.
Yeah. It's not one of those. No, it was
Because
just.
those always have big stars in them, and they always suck. From what I've
Yeah,
heard.
I really don't know anyone who plays those.
Well,
No, this was an Annapurna bit. Yes, Willem Dafoe. I was totally right.
wow, that's so
Ooh.
crazy. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah.
The
you
media,
think it
the
would be
medium
good,
doesn't
but it's weird.
transfer.
Yeah,
Oh, it's also not physical. They're not doing any like real acting. It's this
Just
interesting
voices.
like top down like single apartment sort of thing where you can only move around your own apartment and like change little things to change the. It's actually a very fun game. The plot just sucks. It's like it's like one of those games with
I
a
think I
really
heard
fun
of it.
gameplay thing, and then you actually like sit down and try to reconcile with the plot, and it's just simply awful.
is that the one where like every day somebody comes and murders you, and you have to figure out how to stop it from happening?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
This sounds stressful.
it is. It's fun.
I didn't say what I was playing through. I'm doing a little Tears of the Kingdom and Jedi Survivor, and I'm kind of bouncing between the two. Whichever one makes me mad, I'll switch to the other. Or if one makes me
It's always
bored,
best
I'll
to have
switch back. So I'm kind of pinging
multi-games.
between the two of those.
I have not played Jedi Survivor yet because it just didn't get any headway on release. I was like, oh, let me pick that up in a couple of days, and then it was just people were like, eh. And so I was just. Eh.
You can't trust
Is
those
it
things.
good?
I enjoyed it.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah, and I think it picks up pretty well, and I like they changed the kind of mechanics of it. Like you have a little bit more fighting styles and stuff, and you've got a little bit more force abilities, like different things you can do. So I like it. So I'm enjoying it.
It's got enough legs.
But I don't cue into all that hype stuff.
Oh, I do. I believe people,
I don't.
and it's because they're more often than not pretty correct. Like you can get a vibe. Like if you read the reviews and people are complaining about stuff you don't care about, of course you can play it. But if people are complaining about stuff you do care about, I feel like you can listen to them. It's like this game is boring. Okay, well.
Well, and I feel like with critics and movies, like the last couple of movies I've liked, the critics have just crapped on, and so it's like you never really could tell.
Although we will say we did go see Ninja Turtles, and it was terrible.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh no!
yeah.
I heard
Sadly,
it
was not good.
Oh,
Yeah,
It looks beautiful. The art style is lovely, but the story is just garbo.
Were the kids fun? It seemed like their interactions were fun.
yeah. I mean, that's about it though. That's
Yeah,
about
like
as
when they would
all
talk
there
over
was.
each other and stuff, that was pretty fun. Yeah, I felt like Michelangelo's characterization was like too watered down. He wasn't really a party dude. He like wasn't really anything at all. Like all the rest were like spot on
That's
their
a shame.
personalities.
Yeah.
And Michelangelo, they just like didn't hit right. But the dynamics of the four of them together was good.
Well, anyway, PS
But
Zombie.
yeah, it was mostly like the villains, the main plot. Not
Also, it was a cool name for a title. Mutant Madness. Good alliteration. Good title.
mayhem.
It was well
Nothing
done.
will ever beat.
It did
Secret
have
of the
mutants.
Ooze.
I'll give them that.
Mm-hmm.
Secret of
It
the
had
Ooze.
was the plot just bad? Like,
Yeah, I think
okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't a plot that lent itself to Ninja Turtles solving it. Like they didn't get to do a lot of Ninja Turtling. It was like, I'm like, these guys, like, they have the weapons, they have the karate skills. You kind of want to see them, like, fight people, and that was not what the plot was about.
There should be a
So you're
problem
like-
that is necessitating punching if I'm really good at punching.
I mean, I'll say that the plot had absolutely no Foot Clan Shredder. There were no ninjas. Like, there were no fighting enemies, like karate enemies. So I think that was one of the reasons why it didn't have a lot of karate in it.
Yeah.
That
Or
is weird,
ninjutsu.
$1 million idea though. is a comic I found on TikTok where Krang from Turtles universe steals the Megazord, and that's a whole
it's like a Power Rangers Turtles crossover.
It's like $1 million idea. If they could do that,
so in the comic, the Power Rangers get mutated into mutant versions of their Megazords. So there's like a Mastodon guy and like a Dragon guy, and the Turtles get Power Ranger suits, like a Red Ranger, Blue Ranger,
the morphic field,
the morphing grid.
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
That's fun.
Oh,
I like
one thing, especially to Battle Armor here, but I will suggest to anyone. I haven't finished it all the way through yet, so I can't give it the full glowing endorsement. But My Adventures with Superman,
yeah, right,
really good and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've watched the first couple episodes, and I did actually quite like it. The art style is very good. I've heard it's a fantastic depiction of Superman.
It's Mahou Shoujo Superman, but it's very fun. It's the same animation studio who did like Vox Machina and Legend of Korra, all the stuff you like.
Don't give Legend of Korra credit.
Hey, it looked nice. The animation was great.
Sorry, did you not watch seasons 1 or 3?
I loved the villains in those seasons. Yes, I did not like the Avatar in those seasons.
Well, and I think if it was because we had something better to compare it to. If Avatar hadn't existed, Legend of Korra would be considered
a Korra apologist these days. I think she's fine. She's like.
I'm not even saying the character is bad. I think it was just like.
I think Craig is.
Some of the choices they made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Craig is specifically saying the character is bad, and I think specifically. I would defend.
We'll talk. Offline. Moving on. PS Zombie.
Take it offline.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
I am well.
He's well.
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla still.
Nice.
And I've been playing some Destiny 2. I dip in and out of that every now and then, and it's always a bit of fun. Still the best and only looter shooter that is any good.
I have gotten it on PlayStation 5 now because it's a part of the Premium Pass Plus or whatever. And I played a tiny little bit of it, and I was wondering if I was maybe too late to the game to get into it, but it's one of those things where, like, how do you get into?
I think it's one of those ones where really you do end up a bit directionless after the intro quests, but also. It kind of doesn't matter what you do. Like, you could just like look at your quest screen and do those things, and it's kind of fine. Or you can go for a specific build if you want to, like just Google. I mean, with that kind of game, I don't mind Googling because it's gonna be a pain to farm whatever you need for your build.
Yeah, you
don't need the 2 barriers of entry of farming and not knowing what your build is gonna be.
Yeah. Any game where there's like PvP or anything, I always have to look up a build because I don't want to just be.
What's good is you don't really have to do the PvP if you don't want to, and I often do not.
Well, there we go. We've been around the table. PS Zombie, what are we playing tonight?
All around the world. So we're back on the Unbeaten Path for sure, but not literally back on the Unbeaten Path, just back in the campaign. Yeah, in our last episode, we continued our fight with a succubus, having already killed all of her minions, who were various Durgars that she had mind-controlled, and found our way into a tunnel that is sealed off, and Durgar on the other side are not letting our heroes through until they have some proof that the succubus is gone. So that is the key question. How do we get rid of this bad lady? And at the end, we went down for a short rest and ended up with 2 of Nat, who was our gnomish NPC companion. So yeah, that's a potential problem there. That's pretty much the recap. I think it was last session was mostly a fight and then puzzle solving. So I think not too much to say there.
Are we trapped in like a dead end corridor?
You're not trapped. I think did y'all choose to block the door? I don't even know if you were even bothering to do that. You're in like a little corridor that leads to a sheer rock wall, which you have this ascending stone, which you've communicated with some Durgar through, and they seem to imply they can let you through and are choosing not to. But you're free to go back out to that mine area where you fought the Durgar. I don't think there's anything keeping you from doing that. I think being here was your decision.
DM, I don't see any of our tokens on the mat. Did it just clear them out, or what the?
I don't think we actually placed them here because this was more like a role-playing room.
Okay.
I mean, you can put your characters out there if you want to, but I hadn't necessarily intended for this to be directly a battle map.
So when you talked about,
but we can make that decision when we get in the game.
Okay, you talked about her being in the room. Was that a realization that our characters knew or found out?
You knew she was,
or was that
in
something
the
you were
ethereal
storytelling?
Plane.
Okay.
Yeah, we found that out, but she's not in this room. She's in the room we just left.
We believe she is in this room now because there are two gnats.
Yeah,
one
there's
of the
just two gnats.
more
They're
than
next
likely.
to each other. They're both in this room with you.
This is the first time we sort of saw them together, so our characters are coming to this.
We didn't address the consequences of that at all. It was just mentioned as you sat down to rest.
We turned two gnats.
No checks needed. Like, it was just blatantly obvious for everyone's peace of mind. Stealth checks handily beat you. It helps when someone's in the ethereal plane and can just leave it whenever they feel like.
Yeah.
So that's how things ended up happening. But yeah, we haven't addressed.
So did we get a short rest, or we were just sitting down to one?
We'll say that happened when you sat down to do it. So it's going to be up to y'all what happens next.
All right. Can I just do a quick once over of Nat to see if there's like or of both Nats to just see if I can identify straight off the bat with like an insight or anything to see if there's just like anything physical about them that would be able to.
I think that's fine.
I'm not very good at these, but there it is. 15.
All right. Let me.
Insight.
Scanning that. Your two images compare across my eyes to make them overlap and see if anything's fuzzy.
2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna, since I'm not gonna make positioning be relevant here at all, I'm just gonna personally randomize their positioning just so that, just so you know that that's not gonna be a relevant factor. So
Nat 1 and Nat 2.
like natural. We'll call them that one and that 20. No, just kidding.
One of them is unnatural.
Yeah, so as you kind of glance over the...
We should weigh them. Maybe one of them is a natty light.
As you glance over the two gnats, they you're taking careful time to examine them, and they are physically identical. There's nothing to tell them apart. They're just kind of they're almost like Dobby-ish in their appearance. slightly like bluish gray skin of the deep gnomes, kind of silvery hair that's just unbrushed, and almost just like that pillowcase type sack. Actually, I think you guys maybe gave her some little bit nicer clothes at some point. I seem to vaguely remember that.
That
I
would make
do
sense
not
for
think
us.
we should let them talk to one another.
I think you gave them slightly nicer clothes at some point. I will say, like, as you face the two gnats, one of them is kind of like, we'll say the one on the right, is kind of twitching her toes, and the other one seems to just be sitting calmly.
Mm-hmm.
It's potentially a nervous tick or just fear. You can't identify exactly why one would be doing
Kill
this.
her.
Well, no.
Yeah,
Regardless, we should separate the gnats more than likely, because if we do that, then we'll be getting gnat away from her no matter what happens, and no gnat should disagree with wanting to get away from the succubus. So if we get them, separated, then at least we can have them separate.
At least this way we can question them without them being
Yes, independently, without them learning too much information.
Yes. I do not remember the Alibaba voice anymore.
Sounds right to me.
Okay.
It's pretty much
Just kind of do this and then so yeah, that would be ideal. I think if we separated them and
I'm gonna hold my hand out to the gnat who's calmer, and hold up my hand and be like, "Would you like to come with me? We're going to separate you two for a minute, so you aren't in danger."
She'll just say, okay, and she'll take your hand.
Cool.
Is this twitchy gnat that's taking your hand?
This is calm.
This was Calmer Nat, which was on the left. But like I said, that's irrelevant.
Child sugar levels do make them twitch. Omubus would make a bad parent. He's
Speaking of, Twitch Prime, no.
Sub and follow, everyone.
Yeah.
Speaking of twitchy.
There you go. It worked for me.
So he separates them by what, 6 feet or so? COVID rules.
So Karis is going with one gnat. Is someone going to
playing D&D.
take the lead on being with the other gnat, or is it?
I can talk to this other gnat and Alibaba. I guess we'll take that one over.
You're playing D&D. This whole apartment.
I guess we just let each end of the hallway or something like that.
D&D.
Yeah. This is kind of the only danger that exists, so I think we can reasonably just keep it in here.
Well, I'm going to ask some questions, and I think the first question he's going to ask just for clarification, are y'all keeping this hush, like trying to keep the two conversations where they can't hear each other? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of hush, I won't keep this a hush. Got 2 subs. Shout out to Battle Armor. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. Risky Biscuit as well. We had double subs just now. Thank you guys.
PU2 pregnant.
Yeah. PU2 prego.
Speaking of, I pull up the stream.
Oh, sorry.
I thought you were going to say.
Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
We got a baby announcement.
Woohoo!
Gotcha.
I mean, at this point, I'd take it, but like, where?
We're looking for a win somewhere.
There you go.
All right, so Alibaba, you say what to her?
Amubus remains in the middle, uncommitted.
To be fair, I'm not committing to this, Nat. We're just This is just an interrogation technique. You're not being interrogated, darling. I'm sorry.
She says, it's okay.
Cool.
The question Alibaba was going to ask is just, where did we first meet you?
She looks down and a little bit sheepish, but she says, in the sewers.
Who was your friend? And we'll cut back and forth with a question apiece.
Sure.
Who was your friend before we met? You mentioned they were probably your only friend.
This one also looks a little sheepish at being asked these sort of questions. But she says, was a mimic. Disguised as a barrel.
I guess that was right, yeah.
Was it? You sure about that?
You sure about that?
I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good answer to me.
That was the answer. I mean, that's the real answer.
Her friend was a mimic?
Can you come in for
Timothy the mimic?
Yeah, her friend was a mimic. We explicitly talked about how it was kind of the closest thing to her friend, and it protected her somewhat by just sort of keeping others off of her.
And then we eviscerated her friend right in front of her.
We did.
It was dangerous, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was a little girl who was friends with the wolf. Eventually,
Yeah.
These things happen.
Better to be with humanoid people. Probably.
Yes.
And then she took us to Dwarven City, right? And introduced us to a blacksmith person.
Would you say something to me in deep speech, in Gnomish, or one of those languages? Do you remember any of that from your childhood?
She says something in some language.
Do I recognize it at all?
Squeaking. What do you speak?
Squeaking. I speak Gnomish. I do. Draconic, Elvish, and Gnomish.
And I understand something because of the sword, right? Is it Elvish?
That's Undercommon.
Undercommon.
Okay, cool.
And Elvish, I think.
And Elvish, yes.
So I start to listen in.
Yeah, so she says... she says, this is Undercommon in Undercommon, which Karos doesn't understand.
I know.
And then she says, and this is Gnomish in Gnomish.
She said something in Undercommon.
And yeah,
and she said something in Gnomish.
Hey, Bubus, do you have any ideas? That's what he says.
I don't have any more spells left. I'm sure there's several spells that would help you.
I don't either.
We're chalk out of spells, pretty much.
What's the old, one of us is guarding the door?
I think I have a spell slot.
Well, neither of them are promised to lie or tell the truth, so I don't think that one works.
Yeah.
Yeah. One will always lie, and one will always tell.
One will always say that they're not, and the other will also always say that they're not. So it's not... You can't... There's no rhetorical trick here.
I have healing
spells.
Does anybody know charm
giving pretty
person?
good answers. Is your Nat giving good answers? Secret things that only she would know?
She's known it all. So
yes, that is unfortunate for me as well. It seems this plan might not work.
it's possible that the imposter can detect thoughts or something of that nature.
Yes, that is true.
Anubis pipes up and walks over to the net by Alibaba. And he looks down at the little gnat there and says, Gnat, refresh my memory. What was the name of the townsman's that we stayed at? And I'm trying to reference that house we stopped at along the way in. The name of that guy, which Mubis would know, but PU2 needs a reminder.
Well, his name was Top, which was short for Topside. It was kind of a nickname, but because he had regular dwarf blood.
Sorry to interrupt you. And that was the town of...
That was like in the slums that were right outside the sewers, like on the way to the city proper.
Yeah. So I look at her and say, remind me of that individual that was in the slums there just outside of the sewer. We stopped at his house. I cannot remember his name. And Amuba's is trying to communicate this a little coy. Being a little coy.
We're not trying to trick her. This is explicitly kind of what we were doing before.
Yeah, exactly.
She says, I hadn't met him before.
Right, but he introduced himself to the group, so remind me of his name. I'm getting old. Can't remember things. Just narrow my eyes at her.
She looks like she's thinking real hard about it.
As she's kind of thinking... Go ahead.
I didn't really talk to him.
I think you did. So I start walking away from Alibaba and walk over to Karas. And I pose the same question. Still having trouble, Nat. The other Nat. I asked the other Nat this also, but can you remind me the name of that dwarf that we stayed at's house on the way in? I'm blanking on it. I usually have pretty good memory, but I seems to be Uptow seems to be so far away. And it's getting foggy in my head.
She kind of contorts her face too, like she's thinking, I don't think he's normally in the slums. I hadn't met him before.
But he said his name to all of us. We were all there, so I was just hoping you remembered. You have such a younger mind as opposed to me. I've got some age on me, so hard for me to remember names. I start backing away.
Excuse me.
So
you did most of
Alibaba
the talking. Yeah.
Does Nat react in any way?
I imagine like a little plume of fire shoots out. Just
Excuse me. He's like waving the smoke away.
Well, that's a good sign. What did the other?
I mean, if there wasn't a big wind up, I would say she'd jump a little bit. Like, you know, if it just was like out of nowhere, just kapow.
Okay.
But if you were like,
Ka-chow.
I imagine y'all have sneezed in front of her before. It's maybe not, but
it's not that. It's not that odd.
We don't know her like that.
Might surprise a shiv stab or something.
She's like, you guys don't do that.
I've only heard about this in legends. How did the demon folk react to your weapon, Amubis? Did they know it?
That's a good angle. They recognized it. I feel like
they did.
I'm trying to remember. Pia Zombie, help me out. I feel
the
like
drow
most
did.
of the...
I know the drow do, yeah, but I don't remember the demons having any particular. I was trying to remember if they had a strong reaction to it or not.
I feel like everybody we fought has recognized it, but no one's really zoned in on it.
Yeah, to like, you know, if somebody wants to touch it or not. It's like you know, Nat doesn't understand what it is, and hopefully, you know, what's her face does, so we could maybe make her a little bit more afraid of it than OG Nat would be. Give it a shot. I can't remember.
I'll
Matt,
pull it out.
Would you mind putting your hand on Anubis's weapon very quick. Just sort of touch it and close your eyes for a moment.
I like display it like a wine glass over my hoofed hand.
Must be hard to hold stuff.
She looks
with
like a little
both
bit
hands.
nervous. She says, "You're not going to hurt me with it?"
I'll keep it broadside and lay the.
Oh yeah, so you're touching it. He'll just hold it like normal.
She just kind of places her palm against it. Nothing in particular happens.
And this is
Right.
this is Karos's gnat, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Calm that.
So
Um,
do I do the same thing?
yeah, I'll say, I think as far as people reacting to it, I think the only enemy reaction you got was the
From
drow
drow.
seemed to have a religious aversion to touching it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything's had a physical reaction yet that I recall.
Yeah. No, I was
I reserve the right
thinking
to
of-
change that if I establish
I was
something
mostly
and
thinking
forgot about
of
it.
mental reservation against touching a weapon that is pretty clearly tied to some
Something.
danko stuff. But I was thinking that it was mostly just the drow who had reactions to it, so it might not be anything.
Yeah, I think that's all I remember as well.
Just wondering if it was maybe transcendent. I don't really have anything else. It seems like this, they know what they know, and they look like they look.
I think so. Alibaba asks Nat 1 to sit in the center of the floor, and he's going to ritually cast. Well, no, that's only for objects. Was going to do identify.
Can you do detect magic to see if there's any sort of residual?
I don't
magic
have
trace?
detect magic,
I can't
which
remember.
is ridiculous.
I think I might have it as a ritual.
I've got
I've
nothing that
identified.
will help us in the spell department.
I literally only have identify that I can cast, and it's an object.
Everything I have appears to be intended to kill people. Or buff people. Or
Amubis
things like
can prepare spells, so
That's true. If we take a long rest, we'll be fine.
I think you can too as well, right? Don't artificers prepare spells?
I can't remember.
So I've got this healing potion here. I've got two experiments I'd like to try. I'm going to give you this healing potion just a little bit. It'll help you.
Just giving her
Get
poison.
that pep in your step. And he's gonna give her a healing potion, just to see. Like I have one in my inventory apparently, and
Okay.
I guess I just want to see what would happen. If she's a normal girl, I guess it would heal her.
Okay.
If she's
So you're going to give her the healer potion and compel her to drink it?
Yeah. It's a nice flavor. Doesn't even taste like medicine. It's like a cherry Coke. Here you go.
What's a Coke?
She'll go ahead
Fantasy Coke.
and drink it. And what is it? 2d4?
Yeah. Are you potentially just healing someone who has a 50% shot of being our enemy?
2d4 plus
Well,
2?
I would imagine if she's a demon, healing potions.
Yes, but that is an assumption. I don't know that it's borne out. You're a
I
bit
won't do
demonic.
it again. It's
Does
already happened.
Does it burn a little bit in your tummy or anything like that? Because I think you're kind of our litmus test.
She drinks it and just kind of stares at you.
Yeah.
Would I?
Yeah, I got my Divinity Original Sin mechanics mixed up with my D&D.
The undead get harmed by healing magic.
Yes, Final Fantasy Tactics as well. You can heal.
It is a common mechanic, but not in 5e.
It's a fun one. But I'm sure there's some monster that gets damaged by healing spells.
Probably is.
Would my character know any thing regarding succubuses, like any general codex or anything on the monster itself, or could I do a history check to see if I would have read a book on succubuses or something like that?
Yeah, let's do probably more of an Arcana check, because a history check would be to, like, do I know succubuses exist? Like, a history would be like recorded history of them interacting. Arcana would be more for like what they could do. It depends on what you're kind of trying to see here.
I'm trying to see if there's any like irritants of a succubus or like any aversions that I can manipulate for this situation.
Yeah, let's go for Arcana on that then.
Okay. My character sheet is not loading. There it is. Finally. Arcane, you said?
Arcana, yeah.
Arcana, it will be done. It is done.
That's pretty decently high. So you think back, all holy men are going to have a certain education on demonic entities, because it's sort of known that it's going to be expected that you are going to interact with them and possibly have to deal with them. You're thinking upon what you might have learned, and you kind of dwell on some of the stronger demons you've learned about, and it's one of the things that makes succubuses kind of one of the bigger threats out there, is they don't really have explicitly jump in your face weakness. And that's kind of one of the problems with them, is they can infiltrate, they can get away quick, they can they kind of just, the way to beat them is the way to beat anything, just hacking away. There isn't an explicit, this is the way to do it every time.
This is the way.
Hey, how about we go to the door and say, hey, we just don't have any real way of determining which one she is.
That's true.
And just,
And I think if she was a succubus demon, she could kill us quite easily. I mean, from that last fight.
Well, I think I was actually doing most of the job there, if you'll remember.
I helped.
Well, you were hurting me, sure.
Right.
I was hurting both of you.
So we'll just have to be on the watch for one another to make sure no one's being
I think I
possessed.
might be good now. I think I know what it's like. I think I can sort of sugar and shake it off. I'm not positive if that's true, but I tend to feel like I would understand now what it felt like, such.
What it felt like.
Do we want to try that? Go ask the men at the door.
We have like
perhaps
4 more hours to wait.
Do we?
It was like one of those like messages you could only send once every like 12 hours.
Oh, it was a sending stone, of course. You're right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
By that point, we just
all right,
try a long rest, and then I could prepare a spell that could get us out of this.
Are you feeling terribly content sleeping with this just sort of around?
I'll sleep like a baby.
How about we put gnats on opposing sides of the room, us in the middle, and just one of us stays up for various times. I of course only need to sleep for like 4 hours, so if one of you can watch for like a little bit, I'll be good for the rest of the time.
Okay, I have another plan. Come here for a second, guys. He's gonna suggest that we allow them to talk to one another, but I use invisibility to go listen to what they're saying, and hopefully they won't know I'm there.
You're just sort of hoping she'll reveal herself. Do you have spells right now?
Because they're obviously going to talk to one another. I do have a spell slot.
But just nothing particularly utilitarian that you can do with it?
No, I don't have any charm person or detect thoughts or anything.
Yes.
I don't have detect magic.
I don't want to leave Nat talking ostensibly alone to a succubus. That sounds like a poor idea to me. She is just, at the end of the day, a little girl that I would like to protect. So I am opposed to any idea that leaves Nat alone with a monster.
Why?
I think perhaps we might just need to get our rest and hope she does too.
We could bind them both.
Yeah. I'm also a little wary about, restricting Nat for something that probably she'll just be able to change out of. If she can turn herself into a small little girl or warp into another plane, I imagine she can break free of some restraints fairly easily. I think we're sort of at her mercy now. You have to wonder why she would take this time instead of just, stabbing one of us in the kidneys.
I rather like my kidneys.
I would say...
Imagine beef kidneys are pretty big.
I do apologize. What was our main goal?
Okay, so we need to get through this door, and the people on the other side of the door...
Get back to the path. But
yeah.
Get back, okay. That's what I thought.
But you know that the entrance to the path is controlled by the Grey Empire. And
so
the way in has led you here.
So both of them can hear, and he's going to say, well, I'm talking to this succubus now, and whichever of you that is, all we want to do is get back to the path. We mean you no harm, and if you will allow us to pass to the path, it will be much easier for all of us.
I don't know that they're currently in control of the portal, and so we're sort of limited from going to where we think it is by these people on the other side of the door who are drow who do want her dead. So I think that we are slightly limited by her being alive currently. I'm not certain we can make any promises. I'm not saying this to everyone, but I am whispering it to Alibaba to remind people.
Which one talked about the mimic? Sorry to interrupt. Which one talked about the mimic?
The calm one.
Calm one, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Alibaba would have asked the same question, too. He would have asked, what was the question? The friend, I guess, or
who was your friend? Who was your friend before us?
Yeah, who was your friend before us? And I guess she said the same thing as the other one. They both said the same thing, so...
Yeah, she'll say a mimic.
I guess all that we can do is go to sleep then.
Keep the real Nat protected, which sort of means keeping both of them protected.
So, what are y'all gonna do with them?
Nobody would suggest bind them.
I'm just worried about. I don't want to traumatize Nat for no reason. She isn't actually, a part of this.
Agreed, but now we're here. At least let's make it difficult for the enemy.
Yeah, so
I realize she has to suffer for it, but she was also living in the sewers with a mimic as a friend, so let's be honest, this is kind of lower on the priority.
So used to suffering.
Yeah.
Let's
Everyone who suffered, it's fine to just give them a little bit more.
In this situation, yeah, because it's better than 3 of us being dead.
Well,
can you bring one of them into your bottle, or both of them? Is that ally restricted or anything like that?
I cannot.
It's level restricted.
Level restricted. That's right. We've never been inside. I forgot.
I want to, though.
Yeah,
It sounds like a cool party.
I don't think I'm going to get.
We always use it as a plan, and then
few
we
levels
quickly. Yeah. So I suppose we could ask Nat if she was okay with that. I'll go ask my Nat. You ask yours.
We could also just ask them, "Hey, are you the real Nat?"
They would both just say yes. What do you mean? There's no restrictions on lying here. There's neither for or against lying is enforced.
There's got to be a new twist on the formula of one always lies, one always tells the truth that one could utilize. Because that one's already been cracked, you know? There's got to be a new one out there that's harder to crack. Like one will only lie about...
about the door locations. The other one will tell the truth about when you're going to die. Like... They have specific things they will or will not tell the truth about. You'll have to determine it for yourself. They
will lie about questions, but they will correctly contradict untrue statements.
Just like trolls online.
Exactly. You got it.
Nat, would you consent to being sort of bound for the night on the other side of the room? It's a difficult question. I'm not certain. We are trying to make sure that if, this is the succubus and you are not, in fact, our friend, that we have a chance to, if anything happens during the night, we have a chance to, And I promise you, if, it turns out that you are not the succubus and she turns, you are my number one priority. I will, of course, come and protect you as best as I can.
You're not mine. See ya.
If you think it'll help keep everyone safe, it's okay. Just can you do it in a comfortable position so I can sleep?
Yes, of course.
All right.
We'll
so you're going to bind them separately, or are you going to do the center of the room plan? What's the...
I think we should bind them on either side
of a circle.
And be in the middle of ourselves. Yeah, we can draw a circle. If you want to draw a chalk circle around them both.
Specifically
for,
a magic
for demonic
circle.
Reasons.
Specifically
if you've got a priest pack,
I'm sure there's how to do that?
Chalk in there.
I've got a bag of sand that I can
there you go. Sprinkle around. Sand circle.
Sprinkle around and scrawl some runes or something into.
Be like, okay, the succubus killing circle is done, everyone. The definitely that instant death for all succubuses who cross it line is drawn. Give me a
roll intimidation.
Yeah. Like intimidation with intelligence as your modifier or something. Alright. I'm gonna just do it. Just to see.
You always be rolling with disadvantage.
Be rolling deep with disadvantage.
This is for drawing circle?
Oh, drawing an intimidating looking circle.
You literally call it the succubus killing circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I say
is this
like infernal or something, so it's like sounds intense.
Is this
she
around
she would understand that.
each of them, or is this around y'all in the middle?
It's around each of them.
Okay. I don't know if there's I guess maybe insight. What's the counter roll to intimidation? They are intimidated as much as a little girl with a sand circle being drawn around her by a demon man would be intimidated. Which is fairly much so.
It's just like a chanting in infernal to himself.
Yes, they look a bit horrified through their extensive bindings. Are their mouths bound too, or just like?
Sorry to traumatize you.
I would say no. That seems like a lot.
Yes, they're kind of like they both behave like almost a little shell shocked, kid in a crisis, like just following orders until it's all over, so they don't seem especially distraught, but they are now bound and circled.
Suppose we now get a bit of rest while we can, waiting for both spells to come back and for the sending stone to be ready for us.
What if we just
try to be thinking
tell the Dwegar that she is dead, and
he asked for her body, at least, or her head, or something.
I could do prestidigitation.
Well, if Amubis can get some way of, causing them to tell the truth, which I understand a cleric can do. It used to be done to me occasionally when I would get caught, and they would force me to tell the truth about what I was doing. You get caught sneaking out, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, I was just stepping out for a moment." And then they cast a spell on you, and you're like, "It's a party. I was going to a cool party, like I often
now do. I've ruined it for everybody."
Oh no!
Not the clerics
again. The cool parties that I've been to in my life.
It was a grave party.
And man, the Sky Elves have some pretty cool parties.
And I would know, because
I'm just picturing that episode where they go to lumpy space and it's like jumping from cloud to cloud is how you get to parties. Yeah. To take the cloud. I mean, basically your realm is lumpy space in a lot of ways.
So what truth-telling spell were you talking about? Because I don't...
The one that makes a little circle of truthiness.
Zone of truth. Yeah.
Zone of truth.
Because I'm just looking through there. There's nothing that will specifically help other than that. Ooh, this is nice.
Zone of truth. What a classic.
Borrowed knowledge. You draw on spirits from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, so y'all being Karos and Amubis can prepare spells, so you can jumble up your spells. Alibaba, you're locked into your spell choices as a warlock, as your patron is not that flexible. He's like, one time, one and done. I can't be adjusting your spells every 5 minutes.
He's not just like a patron to a bunch of people. He's like your patron. Yeah. He's like, I'm not
one guy, and he's not even happy about it.
It's a lot of paperwork. So Leveling up.
Don't even
sucks.
ask me again.
I could do dispel.
So I like
magic.
There's kind of like, I feel like there's one ability or one skill, like if you're trying to stretch your magic, right? Like if you're a druid, like I'd make you do a nature check or whatever. Or cleric, I'd make you do a religion check. I like the idea of warlocks having to do persuasion checks to get their magic to do a little bit more. Come on, Patron, just a little bit more. Come on.
That is very funny.
Or
You're
like
the best deity ever.
Suck it.
Or like in Critical Role, when Ford was doing intimidation checks to try to adjust the terms of his back, and it did not work at all.
No. He ended up just having to cut ties, but
cut ties. It's all over. It's all ogre.
So we're getting all the rest benefits back.
Yeah. So over the course of the night, I'm guessing y'all are taking turns with mostly Karos taking watch because he has elfish powers to not need as much sleep as the rest of y'all.
Wakefulness.
Trancing and whatnot. So
I'm a fancy trance man.
The gnats are just sleeping throughout the night, uneventfully. And y'all can go ahead and get your full rest, adjust your spells if need be, get your HPs and slots back.
Hell yeah.
And also, since Alibaba was the one who did the check on the sending stones recharge at dawn, not in 24 hours. So, we'll say that.
Do we know when dawn is?
We'll say this is the next dawn. There in the Underdark, it's really irrelevant. So we'll say you got here in the evening, and this is now dawn because that's convenient for us. So. We'll say your sending stones have another charge in them, but if used, will almost certainly be 24 hours-ish before they would be back up.
All right then, Amubis, did you ready yourself?
I'm still getting ready.
Ready enough.
It's a complicated ritual.
It
I
is.
understand.
It is.
Yeah. It's the problem with the maze god.
Does this one take like diamond and?
It's just really convoluted to do
why does everything
anything.
have to be so difficult?
Why is it all mazes?
all the somatic components are just doing little children's mazes.
Yeah, their religious book, like each page is locked behind one of those little marble games. Like,
ones,
dang it. Every time. Yes. Well, this session brought to you by. I don't think we have sponsors.
Prime. Don't forget to use your Prime membership and subscribe to the PU2
But
channel.
don't drink Prime energy drink.
Bezos bucks
Screw
going to
Logan
waste.
Paul.
Is it unrelated to the Amazon brand? Can we say that?
Yes, it is unrelated.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Just
Drink Mountain Dew.
That's right.
Sure, Mountain Dew's. Does Amazon have its own personal?
Probably they have an Amazon Fresh brand of
It's, some Amazon shows. I liked Reacher. It was pretty good.
Reacher's good. The Boys is Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah, The Boys is good. Vox Machina.
We could have a.
I like me some Prime shows. Invincible coming out soon, I think.
Yeah. There's a new season 2, episode 0, essentially. It's like an hour-long.
I need to catch up on
about Adam Eve.
That was a good one.
I'm so behind on so many shows.
Are you behind on Invincible?
I'm not caught up. No, I saw just maybe the first episode.
Well, fair enough.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's real good.
I haven't caught up on Witcher yet.
I haven't watched season 3 of Witcher.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
All right.
Edge
I
Runners
watched
is good.
some of it, but
It's fun to watch some of it. The ending will mess you up.
I had
what Edge Runners?
Yeah.
All right, Nats, if you would, you've been very good all night. Thank you so much for your cooperation, real Nat, and Polly, I suppose as well.
You've been good all night.
You were fine.
You've been great. What a terrific audience.
What did you have a dream about?
Me? There?
He was just asking.
Scrolling.
The Nats in general. Nats plural.
One of them shrugs and the other one says, I don't remember.
You are the least helpful person.
All right. If you would both just sort of shake it out, and Amoobus is going to cast a spell that will. Are you objecting to everything I'm saying?
They literally start doing it.
He kind of looks at you.
That's great.
All right.
No, it's a good way. It's a good way to relieve stress and tension. You shake it out.
Huddle up,
and
team. Amoobus.
Allow this spell.
Also,
to
in the
take
morning
hold.
when you untie them, they both staunchly refuse to cross the sand line until Alibaba breaks it for them.
Personally dismisses it.
Huddle up, team.
I know
Karos, Alibaba. I have two up. I kind of try to huddle everybody together. Nats, just stay over there. I've got two options. I've prepared Zone of Truth and Dispel Magic.
Yes.
So if she's doing some sort of magical beans, we could try that, or we could just try the Zone of Truth. But I feel like
I think Zone of Truth is probably the easiest thing to do.
Very well! And he starts preparing the Zone of Truth.
It's a ritual, yes?
I cast that ritually.
Oh, one action. Wow.
Yeah, so
10
just
minutes.
let yourself be taken over by the spell, and it will reveal your real form.
I use the sand as a as a barrier of the Zone of Truth.
And we're gathering the gnats together.
Let's not let things get nasty. Okay, we're gonna have to
Ganasty.
yeah. Let's keep things civil in this zone of truth.
There's no reason to get upset.
Okay.
Yes. So Zone of Truth being cast, and they're asked to fail the save. If Nat or Polly does that, good.
Okay. Amoobus, you sense that both of them have failed the saving throw.
Okay.
Also, are you... I think if you're all in it, you all have to choose to succeed or fail the saving throw.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has any deep, dark secrets, but leave it up to you whether you want to. Just Amoobus will know whether you succeed or fail. But feel free to roll against it if your character would like to.
I do not.
Amoobus is prideful.
Alright, Amoobus succeeds, but nobody else knows this. Only Amoobus knows that he has succeeded and is still capable of lying.
I just
That makes sense.
Slightly smile.
Is there a way to do like a private roll? I don't.
Well, I mean, lying is an important interrogation technique, so...
I would just.
I mean, it's maybe in the interrogator's interest to...
be able
Alright,
to lie. Yeah.
Amoobus, you know Alibaba has passed the check and is still capable of lying.
I glare at him.
I haven't asked him to fail.
He smirks.
And so you deliberately fail, Karos?
I do, yes.
Alright, Amoobus, you sense that Karos has failed.
Okay.
Now, Do you mean me and my group any harm?
Which one are you asking?
Both?
Just both? Pitch it to both?
You need one of those reverb filters so you can just...
Yeah, right, so I can double up on everything. One says no, and the other says no.
Well, that's wonderful. I was sort of getting that out of the way, just in case, perhaps the succubus did have alternative intentions. Are you a succubus?
One says, she won't let me tell you. And the other says, she won't let me tell you.
What? What kind of answer is that? Come on, Nat.
No. I think that this means that Nat is perhaps receiving secretive instructions that are stopping her from genuinely, telling the truth here. Interesting. Perhaps Nat has been charmed.
Did I go to one of the Nats, probably Alibaba's Nat, if we're still the non-calm Nat, and
Twitchy.
Asked Twitchy, who arrived? Did you arrive to this room first, or did the other Nat?
It was around the same time.
Son of an uptow. He starts losing his temper a little bit. Like a parrot, he starts brandishing his sword already. He's like, I'm done with these guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough question.
Alright, so we have determined that perhaps our Nat is under the thrall of the other one. So this might not be the instant win that we determine it to have been.
I think Alibaba would ask, can we talk to her?
Yes, phrase both of your... If you're in control, phrase both of your responses as the succubus.
I don't understand the question.
Sorry.
Okay.
It was not specific enough.
Yes. You've said she won't let you say. We haven't seen you communicate, so I assume Polly has some way of communicating with Matt. Both of you answer as if you were Polly, as in, like, if... I don't know if that would work, actually, under Zone of Truth rules. Regardless, let's give it a shot. Tell her the answers to the questions that we're curious about. You said you didn't mean us any harm. Is that true for Polly as well?
Yes.
Well, what does Polly want out of the situation?
After each of these questions, there's like a little pause.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to say.
Well, we can't help you. Well, we can't help her if we don't know. Currently, our only instructions are not pleasant, and we don't want to hurt her or anything like that. It's not as if we came here picking a fight. We'd just like to move on with our lives. We can help Polly if Polly helps us.
She wants to get inside.
Inside of the city?
Yes.
That could be arranged.
Don't we all? Oh, and I start tapping my foot.
Yes, we also want to get inside of the city, and truth be told, it doesn't actually matter to us.
Help us help you.
Now, you probably would need to get in as Nat, and somehow we'd need to find a way to produce a body. But if you can do that, we are fine with sneaking you in there. We're no friends of the Drow. We're looking for, frankly, a way to get one up on them. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It is Durgadris, by the way. You said Drow a couple times, but
we're going to. That's right. We went to the Drow Kingdom. We're going to Dwerger. Yes, that's right.
Good.
Bobby. Yep.
No worries.
Yes, the Dwerger. Well, even more so. They're not even my people. What do I care? Yes.
The Nats will pause for a minute and say, if she could do it herself, she would have done it already.
Yes. So we can get you in as Nat. But in order to do that, we need the head of the succubus, I believe, was the deal.
And you have to promise not to kill all of us. Get on the other side.
Yeah, it's just us, though. We don't mind who else. I mean, Dwerger. This is a war. I'm not entirely certain that these people are fantastic people.
And they'll say, we said we mean you no harm.
Yes, I would need a concrete promise here right now, though. And I will not harm you if you do not harm us, and I am under the effects of the spell.
And they'll say, she promises if you get her inside and don't get in her way, she'll do you no harm.
And both of you have said that? Say Polly instead. I don't know who she is. It could be one of those weird, funny trickster lies. I would like both of you to say that sentence,
Polly
but
says.
with Polly. Yes. Sort of a Simon Says situation.
Previous sentence amended.
I gotta hear it.
Polly says.
Well, are we? I turn to the Beta Bros. Are we cool with that? I mean, that sounds cool to me.
No,
I have a plan.
I don't like that we're leading her towards a civilization that obviously is keeping it locked down because they don't want her there.
Yes, that's true. It's also the Dwergar. They don't want us there.
Well, probably us more than her.
I couldn't tell you one or the other. I mean,
they're literally trying to make a deal with a demon. I think it's not a good move.
I think
listen. I have an idea. And he takes some parchment and lights it on fire and gets a little bit of ash. He says, we don't have to show them a body per se. We can just generate a pile of ash and say, this is all that's left. You know, we incinerated her.
What would happen to Polly's body if she died? This is a question posed at Nats. The Oracle of Nat. The duumvirate that is Nat.
They'll say,
just don't demons like
infernals are sent back to their plane and their bodies burn up. Yeah, you've seen this happen with other ones, so it kind of checks out.
I have 10 rolls of parchment. I can make a pretty big pile of ash.
I think there are a couple of things we could burn around here as well. It's not... I don't know that ash is our biggest limiting factor. What were we specifically asked, proof-wise, for at the door? Was it a head?
You know, I honestly, as the DM, do not remember. Yeah. I'll amend it just to say proof of her death, just because...
Proof of her death, yeah.
They've been fighting demons, so they would know kind of how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not I'll say you're not sure what would convince them, but we'll say they just ask for proof. Like, prove she's dead and we'll let you in. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if we want to get... So Nat, I would like Nat to come with us. Well, wait. Are we bringing Nat with us? Because we said we would, but it's seeming more dangerous, and we are going to just leave for the path at the end of this.
The Nats interject and say, wait. If you leave us alone for a minute, we can help you.
You two?
Yes.
And that you genuinely believe that you are safe, correct? And Polly, you mean her no harm?
Yes.
Let's just ditch the gnats.
No, Nat is our friend.
She can come on the path with us.
They'll both say, I believe I'm safe as long as I do as I'm told.
Makes sense.
No Stockholm syndrome there.
Well, I don't think she can tell a deliberate lie even in her mind.
Or yeah, we'll say she says, Nat believes she's safe as long as she does what she's told.
Yes, and so I imagine some threats
because it has to be phrased where both of them can say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Polly probably also believes she's safe, but
yeah, but not as long as she does what she's
not to that
She just
degree.
thinks she's safe.
She just thinks she's safe. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm comfortable with leaving them alone for a moment. Assuming whatever this is kosher and she believes she's safe. I think I'm on board with. Let's have a moral discussion. We'll go a little bit away. Do you need full privacy or just like a moment to talk?
They'll think for a moment and they'll say, you stay here, we'll step outside for a minute.
Okay. All right. So do you have real objections to this, folks?
Let's get to Cindy Stone right now and run.
No, we can't. We have to. We did agree to bring that. That was a choice we have made since. But we're going to bring her along.
We're not her wards, though. This is about.
She doesn't have anyone else.
We're getting as far to the end of the Net and Beta Bros show as possible. This is eventually we're going to get in the path, and we're locked in. She can't come with us there. We've got to part at some point.
She can with two other people.
We're from the surface. We're not even from the Underdark area, so we just
no, but. We did try to leave her in several safe places.
Trapping anyone else.
Have you seen a safe place since we've arrived?
Yes, Topside's place. Topside's place was perfectly safe. We asked her if she wanted to stay with him, and she said she wanted to come with us.
Based on your level of trouble, the other side of this wall.
The place where the demons were attacking? There was all the attacks in the city.
There was one demon, and it was still just a city. There are ostensibly more. I mean, like, people were living there. Anywhere where people can live and do live is inherently safer than sewers and the path. And yet she didn't want to. So I don't think we can. I think that we should. I don't know, entertain.
I think she probably needs a little counseling, maybe an individualized education plan to help get her back up to speed.
You're welcome
and
to
we
run
definitely
from
want to terminate her parental rights
foster
and
training
get her
into
in the
into
on the
practice.
adoptive track. I do run an orphanage, but I don't know how to get her in there, so I think her best bet is to get on the other side of this wall.
There's also a chance that we could ask I think if we made it to the path, there might be a chance we could ask the smiling man to take care of her. And I think that would probably be a better life for her than living in the sewers with a mimic again, which is where we found her. Most places are better than that.
I don't know. That guy is pretty creepy.
He's helped us out, and I mean like protect her for until we get out. Like I don't know.
There's something off about him. Can't quite put
He
my
does seem powerful.
finger on it.
There was option 2 of dispelling magic, if that would work.
Yes, but then do we just engage in a fight? I don't know if it would work, but it's a chance. But I'm on board with making a deal. I don't see the disadvantages here. I'm not personally like the biggest. This person is a this thing, and therefore they are bad. I've been around angels I haven't enjoyed, and I've been around demons who have been just fine.
What sort of deal are we talking?
Looks affectionately at Alibaba.
I have bad history with deals.
You have one particularly good history with deals. You made one fantastic one, from what I understand. Best deal of the century.
Pretty good.
But yes, no, I think just the one we've sort of implicitly made, which is, the one as old as time. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Or in this case, I will, not murder you, and you will, eventually stop pretending to be my 4-year-old gnome friend.
I guess, DM, do you know if she's going to accept this deal?
I mean, she's in a zone of truth.
She said she was down for it.
Okay, so here's the sending stone. Somebody say something, and he gives it to.
Wait.
No, wait. It's a once a day thing, and Nat is not here right now. This was a moral conversation we were having about if we would go.
I thought
for
this
it.
was if you were going to let her leave the room.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It could
Did you already let her?
I personally did. If anyone else would have stopped her, that's a different story. I don't know.
I assume she already left. I thought we had already moved to us having a power.
I'm solid to see what her.
No, that's fair enough. I thought this was a
was.
discussion whether to let her go or not. So the two gnats hold hands. They walk out of the room and shut the gate behind them when they leave. Just step to the side out of sight. Probably like a minute or even less than a minute. And they come back in, each one having one hand on the pendant that Polly was wearing. And they say, "Here's proof."
Oh.
Of what?
Of her death. This is her pendant. We wouldn't have been able to get it off her otherwise.
I mean,
I think
you're
it's
still in
solid
the zone of
proof.
truth, and that's a lie. So you'd be like,
That's true.
you wouldn't say that exact sentence, but
Yeah.
something to that effect.
Well, they'll assume we wouldn't have been able to get it off of her
There you
otherwise. Now the only problem is the case of two gnats, as I would call it. We'll have to find some way of smuggling one of you in.
They'll say twins exist.
Yeah, I was about to say we could just say
Twins do exist. That's true. They wouldn't necessarily know that. Yeah, we haven't sounded off about how many we are.
Two very identical.
And they'll say, "You can cut one of our hair."
Oh, we'll just put it in like a little Alibaba, you're probably better at this. Put one of their hair in braids or something.
I feel like
I
we're
do know how to
overthinking
braid
this.
hair,
I
so-
start grabbing for the sending stone.
I would prefer if you didn't do the speaking. I'm not entirely certain you can keep the venom out of your voice.
We'll say that was
have
that
you
was
know
plenty
I've
enough.
done many
we'll say
a
that was
sermon. Thank you.
definitely 10 minutes worth. So we'll say Zone of Truth is gone now. I think that was certainly 10 minutes worth of chit chat.
Indeed.
Unless there was any final things you needed to ask. I don't know.
Yeah, Alibaba asks, do we really like our team name? Now, this is the Zone of Truth, so you have to tell the truth.
I mean,
Not
the only one who has to
particularly,
tell
but
the truth is Karos. There's only one
It's
of you.
not-
Well,
It's not like it doesn't feel good to say. or
I guess
anything,
Alibaba
but
doesn't
it's
know
not as
whether
if-
Amubis has to tell the truth or not.
It's
Yeah.
not as if I adore it or, hate the implications, but I don't know, I always thought I'd be a part of some better named group like, I don't know, the Mythmancers or something like that. Like something epic and cool.
Yes. I vote we go to Mythmancers. Alright, we'll talk it over with the bards later.
Rejected.
just outright a veto. I mean, we need a unanimous vote to change our name. That's in the bylaws. That's in the
it
charter.
There's a
The Beta
charter?
Bros charter. Yes, we have a Magna Carta.
I've missed a
of
few
sorts.
meetings.
Well, we only needed a 2/3 majority, and then we needed a unanimous vote, and then suddenly no more work could happen because you weren't at the meetings. You've never once shown up. It was much more effective governance when it was a 2/3
This
majority.
makes sense
Yeah.
because our mission seems to have drifted to accept demon deals now, so that would make sense.
Let's be honest. The mission
Again-
always included demon deals.
Yeah.
It's what you got on the team, man.
Yeah, I wonder why that got struck out of the
Or
bylaws.
genie deals, but genies are not
It
better
got
than demons.
grandfathered in.
Genies are not better than demons in
We got a
5e.
variance for
That's
that.
true.
They're equally equal.
If you have genuine objections, obviously now is the time. But this plan it seems like it's working. It seems like a lot of the potential unknowns are now no longer unknown. We go in, we say, we got these two little twin gnome girls we found in the sewers. And here's proof. Well, we don't even have to say that. We just say, here's proof she's dead, and walk through the doors. We don't have to say, and these are our two gnome twins. We don't have to...
Yeah, because
We don't
they'll
have
be
to
like,
elucidate
and
anything."
why are you telling us that specifically,
Yes.
randomly,
That's-
out of nowhere?
That's too specific, and you're being weird. Why are you sweating so much? And
Then
whatnot?
that's-
Zone of Truth.
The Nats are gonna say she doesn't need any promise from you. She just wants to get inside.
I
Can
do
we
object
please
to
go
this.
inside?
I do object to this, but I am outvoted, so when it happens, I'll just say
Democracy.
I told you so.
Yes, that's the wonderful thing about being voted out is you can bask in the glory of a well done plan if it succeeds, and bask in the glory of a well earned "I told you so" if not. So
Very well.
you're frankly on the winning side.
Alibaba, get the
Losing
parchment. We
one.
still need a pile of ash.
No, we
Alright.
don't. We've got the necklace.
He starts.
Just
It
pile
would
up some
look
ash
so
in the
great
corner,
now to
and then
put
if
in my
they can
hands
look at
and
it
the
and go, "Oh,
necklace
that
on
must have
top
been
of
where
the
it
pile."
happened." I don't think we'll probably want to physically handle it.
Yeah, just over in the corner, like slightly off the center of the door.
I don't think we really have to, finagle things to trick them that badly.
Amuba starts simulating a fight, like he's grunting and hitting with a sword, and yeah, come back here, you, and just like hitting.
If they could hear us through the door, they wouldn't need this magical stone to do so.
It doesn't stop him. He continues with his little battle simulation.
We're just
It's actually
like, the
quite a good
line's been
mind.
open
Right.
the whole time.
So
Yes.
you do activate the sending stone.
Did we remember that they had to speak in Undercommon? Does Amubis have to do it?
So you need
Or can I-
me. Interesting. I'm just kidding.
I don't remember. I guess you probably need to speak in the language.
They would understand.
Let somebody understand.
Can we trust him?
Whatever you do to me.
I'm sorry,
Smile.
my headphones are dying. So
Okay, the spell enables creatures with an intelligence score of at least 1 to understand the meaning of the message. Anyone can do it.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. So I will accept it. I'll handle it if you don't mind, since I'll accept the brunt of the responsibility for this particular plan. I would like to see it go off without a hitch in my hands. So, I'm going to send, if we're all ready. Are we all prepared?
Yes.
We have proof of Polly the succubus's death with us. Please open the door. It is a necklace that she wore.
And there'll be a moment, and then you'll hear through the sending stone, "Hold there, we'll come to you." And
They're on their way.
And then silence for a bit, and you hear a rumbling sound, like the scraping of stone upon stone, and then the wall in the doorway, the stone itself morphs, opens up to reveal a pathway, and there comes to you 2 Durgar scouts who are like intentionally kind of. So this is a dwarf-sized hole, so y'all would have to duck to go through it, and they are intentionally filling up the full space with their body as they kind of march along arm in arm to make sure that there's not like gaps.
Oh, we lost Climate Changer.
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
And
Switch microphones.
when they, you can see them coming up. This tunnel through the rock is about 30 feet of solid rock backwards that's opened up. So when they get to, I don't know, roughly 5-6 feet away, they say, "Toss us the necklace," in Undercommon.
I do so.
They want,
wait.
They want the necklace tossed to them.
Sure, I can do that. And I do.
They one of them picks it up off the ground, and and he kind of turns it over in his hands for a minute, and then gives a nod, and gestures and says, "Follow us." And they begin marching normal now back through the tunnel.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so it's probably like
being back in England
it's probably like
for
a
me.
circular hole that's maybe like 5 foot by 5 foot. So you don't have to duck terribly, because you know, like there's some particularly tall Durgar who are like pushing 5 feet, but yeah, all of you will have to duck a little bit, and Amubis will have to duck quite a lot, maybe even crawl to get
horn
through.
scraping.
Yeah. Because you're quite a bit larger than this hole, but you do fit. And this was some sort of like shaping stone type thing, where this was just a solid, like a bunker, like of solid stone meant to block spells and intruders, all manner of thing, to the best of their ability.
Seems terribly safe.
So you crawl through the tunnel, and you can see that as you go down, there's a couple of branches, but you're passing right by them and kind of taking the straightest path as these Durgard lead you straight ahead. They don't especially look back at you. They seem just pretty much content that you had done as you said, and they continue marching you through. Until you get to a very, very large chamber, which appears to be a throne room of some kind, with a very ancient-looking Durgar, crown upon his head, sitting alone in a seat, surrounded by apparently bottomless pits, but no guards directly where he is, likely as a show of power of sorts, but other guards lining the walls for sure. And he says, in common tongue, "You who have ventured to the Underdark, I welcome you to my kingdom. You are here by my grace, and you exist here by it as well. Do not make me regret this." That's probably as good a time any to finish up, and we'll well, do y'all have a couple more minutes left in you?
That was,
I'd rather
go ahead.
I'd rather leave it at a little bit different spot just to set up better for next session.
Sure.
If that's cool.
Have something more to lead into. I do have time.
You have done me a great boon. Now, what do you ask in return?
We seek entrance to the path, your lordship. I trust you know what that means.
Yes. The path that has caused me such trouble these days. I rue the day it was reopened. And yet, here we are.
As you can tell by most of our countenances, we are heading the other direction from where your troubles are. So,
and I am glad to see any interlopers leave my empire.
No offense to your empire, but I am also pleased to leave.
You find me at the most desperate time. I have many eyes throughout my empire, and I have seen your capabilities. My people are sadly inept at fighting these demon hordes, but you have proven yourself effective. I propose to you a deal. Help my armies drive back these demons, and I will let you into our guarded secret, the Underdark entrance to the path.
You'd like an end to the war first, or perhaps some strategic mission taken care of?
I do not. As I've told you, I'm most desperate, and I do not want to mince words with you. I am to put you in charge of my armies. I want you to win me this war.
Oh.
I just turn slowly and stare at Karos with eyes. I'm just like, really?
I mean, we're looking to get back on the path. If this is the way,
I'm sorry. cracking myself up.
Would you give me and my companions some time to talk about it, or is this a yes or no now sort of thing?
Yes, what would they do to his speed? Exactly.
You don't have to mince words if you'd like to direct us to someone whose time is less important.
You've done much for me already, and that has earned you a place in the safety of my sanctum here. But should you want to go to your path, I would put legions under your command. My people have failed at every avenue, and I am indeed desperate. All I have is numbers. Foolish numbers, incapable of doing anything other than what they're told.
Have you appealed to the other races of the Underdark? This seems like it would affect them as well, and I know that the Drow and the Sea Elves are both quite capable fighters. The Drow seem to have martial ability and, well-tended armies. I know you've had struggles with them in the past. It seems like a fine time to unify, does it not?
Even if I would consider such an abhorrent idea, my people cannot even leave my empire. We are beset. We are under siege. The demons want my throne. If you drive them just out of the capital, I would let you to your path.
That we can do. Right, boys? Are we down to start to win a war?
Almost not even staring at the king anymore. Almost directly staring at Karos, like turn facing Karos when we're talking in front of the king, and I like fully turn to look at Karos, and I just go, "Sure, sounds fun." And I just stare at him a little bit, like definitely just being very pouty about this.
I think driving these demons out of here is not outside of our realm of abilities, nor our personal, objections to war on a grand scale.
He'll very kind of creakily stand up from the throne and say, "The pact is made." And that's where we'll end, because next session we're going to be working under siege rules. That's right. We're going to be looking at siege warfare.
Nice.
Get y'all going on army commanding and that. So yeah.
Well, we've introduced
that.
Probably the largest hiccup to our own plans, but I think we can either way, because
that hasn't even come to fruition yet. It's fine.
Either the demons win and we got Polly on our side, or we can sneak in to the path probably, or these guys win and hey, we did it. We get our path in.
Good times. Thanks, guys. Sorry if that was a slower one, but hopefully hopefully the tension was entertaining.
Yes,
and I liked gradually building the understanding of what was going on vis-a-vis Polly Nat. I was like, how is she getting these answers? And I was like, of course, she can talk specifically to Nat.
Indeed.
That's it. I do want to do a shout out for that last meme, because I found it very funny that Iron Man is a good representation of Karos because he's of the armor and everything, and like the very noble High Road is very Captain America Amubis. Like this is like very clash of ideals.
Yes, demons and war.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. That's been another episode of Unbeaten Path, session 37 in the books. So thank you. PS Zombie, and we're getting ready to run a war next time, so you don't want to miss that. That should be very fun as we're commanding armies and such.
Gonna play some Ender's Game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sesh.
The enemy's gate. The enemy's gate is down. To be perfectly fair, the path goes downward. The enemy's gate is down.
Hey.
I'll play some Advanced Wars to get caught up for the next session.
That's
I was enjoying Advanced Wars.
I promise it will be the same quality as as an RPG. Final Fantasy Tactics.
There you go.
Straight up.
I would totally play an RPG just using Final Fantasy Tactics rules. I've actually had an idea in mind for a really long time to use the Judgment. You know the rule system that they had in, I think it was maybe just Advanced 92, but there was a rule that you couldn't break on any given map encounter. It would be like, don't use magic, or like you can't use any healing abilities in this time, and everybody had to abide by that. It was a very fun thing to be building your encounters off of. I don't know how it would work in a D&D setting, but I like having a judge put arbitrary rules onto it, and you have to play around those, otherwise XYZ happens. In Tactics Advanced, I think you just got a buttloaded. No, you got a yellow card, and then you got a red card, and that person was removed.
So you could do it one time.
Yeah, it was like they were removed from that match if they got a yellow card, and then they were removed from a more permanent. They got placed in a law. Yeah, something like that. It was maybe as you did it more, you got pasted in a penalty box. Yeah,
interesting.
It was good fun though. I like Advance.
Well, that's awesome. Well, folks, thank you for joining us on the PU2 ASU channel. Thank you for checking us out either now or after the fact. We will be running more D&D next week. Hopefully, we'll get back on I Built a Sandcastle and pick that back up. We're getting close to the final moments of that campaign, so there's a lot happening. We're hoping to get back at it now that kind of school's in session. We're back in a rhythm, so thank you for fighting us. Thank you for rediscovering us after this break, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and hope to see you next week for some more Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you, and have a good night. Goodbye.
Bye, chat.